Hello and welcome to Train Fever. That's a game about trains. Who would have guessed, right? With a big locomotive right at the front of it. But yeah, it's a new game. At least as of this recording, I think it was published like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So really new. I'm new to it as well. I have fumbled around with it a little bit, but to say I'm an expert would be overstating it wildly. Yeah, I'm a bit newbies in this one, but I do have my experience with OpenTTD, so I guess I'll be alright. Speaking about which, Train Fever, I think you could really see this as the spiritual successor to Transport Tycoon and Locomotion and Railroad Tycoon and Cities in Motion even a little bit, I guess, though I've never played the latter, the two latest ones I just mentioned, but yeah, you know, I think it's the spiritual successor and it's beautiful, gorgeous in 3D with trains. Man, what else could we want, right? It's developed by Urban Games, which is a small indie development team, studio thing, whatever you call it really, and well, you know, I've been following this for quite a while, but right now it's published, you know. I've actually been following this since I ever first got the scent of its crowdfunding campaign, because that's the way how it came to be. I mean, you know, it was crowdfunded on some crowdfunding website. And yeah, I've been following the development and now it's finally there. So I can't wait to play this and well, yeah, you know, let's start a new game then, shall we? So, and now, as I said, I have fumbled around with it a little bit just to get grips of the, you know, of the mechanics, how it works and all that. So, I am not a total noob. We're gonna play on a large map, because I like large. Oh man, that's what she said. We're also gonna play on a flat terrain and on easy difficulty, because, like I said, I'm a bit noobish with it, and yeah, you know, I don't think starting out hard in a new game is that great, you know. I mean, it's probably fun, but it wouldn't make for great videos. So, now we can do a seed. We could, you know, take one of this random gibberish, or, and I like this even better, we could take the seed SpeedyNet. Yeah, I think that's quite fitting, right? I mean, I guess this is a company name. And even though this is me, for a company name, you know what? We're gonna be the Locoboys. There, I guess that's pretty cool, if anything. Now then, we are all set up and ready to go, and yeah, let's start, right? There, the signal to start, the terrain generation, that is. Now this game, I mean, it's new and I must admit that it doesn't have the polish and depth that a modded OpenTTD has yet. They are still developing it though, so, you know, new stuff is coming, though they haven't really disclosed what, and well, you know, they did release a bug fix patch like a couple of days ago, so there's definitely being, well, actively worked on. But like I said, you know, it isn't quite equal to a modded OpenTTD. Speaking about mods, there are already quite a few mods out there. However, we're not playing with those. We're just playing the vanilla game. And yeah, I mean, this is like the intro video, so chances of us getting done a lot aren't that big. But yeah, you know, I mean, mods, they're out there, you know, and they work pretty much the same as in OpenTTD, where they add trains and all that stuff. So, right then, well, here it is, the world, which is just freshly generated, and we have a tutorial. Now, this was all the help you'd get at the start, and it doesn't really explain much, other than just how you set up bus and train lines. So, yeah, I have been fumbling around with it a bit, and I do think I have a small understanding of the mechanics. Now, here it is then, you know, the world, 3D and all that, and we can move around, zoom in and out, and pan the camera. Though, you know, it is a beautiful zoomed out view like this. The game does crap itself a little bit regards to the frame rate, but yeah, I think it looks quite good, you know. I mean, just 3D and all, it looks wonderful. Now, over here, we have a oil refinery, and well, I'll pause the game there so we don't lose any precious time. So yeah, how does it work, right? Well, it's much familiar to OpenTTD in that it works by us having to make money by moving around goods or passengers. That much pretty much the same. As you can see, there's like these oil refineries, there's also like oil wells over here. And basically, you know, it's pretty basic at the moment in that if we open up the list of industries here, one can see the industries over here, and basically there's oil wells, there's forests, iron mines and coal mines. Now, they need to bring their goods to oil refineries, sawmills and steel mills, and the iron ore and coal, as you can see, they go together. They make goods, all universal goods, doesn't matter what's inside, they're all crated boxes with goods content. Anyway, those goods then need to be ferried over to a city, and that's it pretty much, you know. Like I said, it's really basic, but there's mods out there that add a lot more. And who knows, we might even, you know, touch those later. Anyway, we are here right now, and we need to determine the right spot for us to start, and we also need to determine what we're gonna start out with. Now, one thing I do know is that we're not going to start out with passengers, even though they're really important, and we're definitely going to transport them to their destinations. It's not what we're gonna start out with, because passengers require quite a big initial investment. And, well, you know, early game, we only got 3 million. Starting out with big investments isn't really what I consider to be good business practice. So, we're gonna start out with cargo. And, well, as we can see, I've already filled it over here. The list of industries, and you can see that some of them are producing goods and some of them aren't. Now, the way this is determined and how this works is, well, it's not really that complicated, but it's different from how it works in Transport Tycoon, in that in Transport Tycoon, just the mines and the oil wells and all that, they'll just produce stuff, and if you manage to take it all away and to a destination, they'll produce more goods because you are able to take it all away in a reasonable amount of time. Here it works differently. Say that oil well is producing goods, you know, and well, it's then going to an oil refinery, and that oil refinery and then takes it to a city. Well, the way it works is that this won't be just increasing production on its own. No, it's demand based. So the city over here, say this town of Morley, has a certain demand, you know, and you can actually check what the rough estimate of the demand would be if you go to land use. And you can see over here that these blue colored buildings, these are our industries, and no, the greens are residential, and this is, I think, commerce, and this is leisure. So there you have it. It's actually a bit like SimCity, only they switched the colors around, you know. Yellow is not industrial, but well. Anyway, you can see that there's quite a big section of blue buildings in this town, so there's probably quite a solid demand over here. And you can see that, well, there's a 34 demand for cargo here. So if we were to hook this up to, say, this factory over here, then it would, well, you know, it would be producing 35 max. However, it can't just produce things out of thin air. It needs goods to produce something. So you also need to hook up this oil well, and the moment you increase the demand in the town by growing it, and of course you do that by moving passengers to and from, then the demand will increase, which will increase the production over here of the oil well, and over here of the... oh wait, no, the oil refinery, and over here of the oil well. So, yeah, it works from the demand rather than that it works from the production over here, you know? It's a different mechanic. Anyway, having said that, we need to find ourselves a spot with production already in place. Now, the amount of production that you see here already is based on whether or not a accepting industry or town is in close enough proximity. Because say for example that this coal mine over here has a steel mill all the way over there, that's like miles away, so obviously no goods will be moving. But if there was a steel mill over here, then the coal mine would start sending out goods on its own because the steel mill is in close enough proximity. Now, the measurement the game uses to determine whether or not goods are being moved over on their own is travel time. Obviously, I mean, look at these roads. As far as you can call them roads, I'd rather call them just tracks, really. But these obviously don't travel that fast, so yeah, the distance is pretty limited. And I think it's something like this is pretty much the max distance that, well, you know, they'll accept and produce goods. So what we need to do is we need to reduce their travel time, and if we were to hook up, say, like one of these oil wells to a refinery and the travel time would be below a certain number, I think it's 20 minutes actually, but I can be wrong on that. Anyway, if you then move it over to that oil well and the travel time drops below the 20-minute mark, then they'll start producing. Now, at the start, of course, it's better to grab something that is already producing than having to wait for the production to ramp up, you know? So, yeah, our choices are basically limited to this group over here. Now, as far as which industry, we're gonna skip the steel because it requires 2 resources and that means more investment. So it's either wood or oil. So I'm just gonna have to, well, scout all these oil wells and find out if and where they're located and how good it is. So, Tolaw oil wells, huh? You are situated near the city of Tolaw. What a surprise. Then, where is the refinery? There should be a refinery at over there. So, if we were to move the goods, we'd have to do it like this, and then move it like this. However, there's a river over here. And I don't like rivers because they mean investing in bridges. And of course, they're not that cheap, so... yeah, Tolaw, I don't know really. Let's see what else we got. Thame oil wells. Let's see, your oil processing is over here, and then over here's the town already. You might think that, wow, that's close, it's good. It actually isn't that good, and there's also a freaking river over here. But see, trains, they need, if you use trains on really short distances, it kinda isn't worth the investment. So I feel that this is a little bit too short. On top of that, see these lines? These are height lines, and this means that, well, you know, the train has to travel up pretty steeply, which you can see over here, you know, so, yeah. Thame oil wells? No. At least not for a startup location. We want everything to be perfect, really. Which means that Stockton-on-Tees is also not suitable because massive giant hill. Oh, and also rivers. And the distance isn't that far. So, then Featherstone oil wells. It's over there. Let's see. I mean, this isn't that far away, I guess. There are a few height lines. It's like... well, the good thing is that, you know, the blue side of this town is over here. So we would have to travel like this. So the station would probably be here, because that would be convenient. And then we'd have to travel all the way over there. It's reasonable, though this is a little bit close. I don't know, really. This is, at least for oil, Featherstone is the best candidate. So we'll check out the wood as well. Woodley Forest, what a name, Woodley Forest, right. Okay then, Woodley Forest. Where is the sawmill? I'm looking for that one. I don't really see any sawmill. It is producing, so there must be a sawmill close. Oh wait. Wow, that's actually quite a distance to cover, though it's also not really ideal in that, well, there's a lot of height lines over here, so it's situated on the hillside. And also, we'd have to move it a long distance, this is quite long, and then a really small distance back to the town. So, yeah. Woodley Forest? No. Newton Le Willows. Wow. Alright, Newton Le Willows Forest. Alright, this is... situation, you know, with the height lines isn't really that great, but... And then... Well, this isn't that bad though. In terms of distance, it's rather good. This is a reasonable distance, not too far, not too close. It's just that... there are some height lines, though... Look, see, rather than going against them, we can go with them. So, even though there are some height differences, they aren't a major part here. This looks quite promising, actually. Ah, nice. This looks really good, in fact. Alright. Good. Well, seeing how this is looking very promising, Newtown Le Willows will keep that in mind. But there's also Linton and Linmouth. Wow, what a name. So you are over there, and the sawmill over there, and then it's basically more or less the same. I mean, the height lines also are pretty good, you know, but it's just a little bit too close, I feel. So we're not really gonna use this one. So, well, I guess it's decided. Newton Le Willows is it. And we're gonna start over here. And, well, we do need to start out with trains, of course. Now, just in case you were wondering, these icons over here, these are actual goods moving on their own to whatever destination they have. You can't click them, you can't see anything, it's just an indication of, look, see, this one's producing and it's sending goods to someplace. When the production ramps up really high, you'll see like a continuous line over here. That is, if we're not moving it. Anyway, having said that, I do want to get at least something done. So, you know what, we're gonna set up our train line. And we need to be careful about this, because setting up a train line is way different than it is in Transport Tycoon. I mean, the whole track construction has been enhanced massively. At least, I feel pretty safe to say so. So, yeah. But before we can do any track construction, we need a station. So we're gonna build one. Now, over here, there's two types, as you can see. One is a cargo type, and the other is for passengers. They don't interact with each other, so you can't station goods on a passenger or cargo on, or you can't station passengers on a cargo. Bleh. You know what I mean? They don't work together. Anyway, we need cargo, of course, and, well, the good thing is we can construct while the game is paused, and I would actually recommend doing that at least for the first line, because you do pay maintenance for your property, and, well, you know, if you're just building your first train line, then you don't really want to pay maintenance for something that isn't used. Now, you can also see an indication of the costs, so it would be good to have it at a place where it is as cheap as possible. In my eyes, it would be somewhere around here, where it only costs 65, like over here. This seems to me a pretty good spot. Of course, we could... It was 64-ish over here. I mean, we can save money, we might as well, right? So 64 over here. That seems pretty solid. I do hope, though, yeah. I mean, usually I build them like right next to each other, but I don't think... Oh, did I solve? Yeah. I mean, I think that this is still pretty close and the goods will still move up there. So, Good. We now have ourselves this station, and we need to hook it up to the road. Which I think that this, yeah, pretty solid, you know. I mean, there's not much that we can do about it. I do like these crossovers, though. Yeah, quite nice. Right then, now this is just a simple one-lane station, but we don't really need more over here right now. There is something to be said for future-proofing this, because, well, you know, it's totally unlike OpenTTD, the whole building, you know, of tracks and stations. And if we were to upgrade this, then we need to remove the whole station, build the new one in its place, and hook everything back up. Yep, that's the way how it works. So that's definitely a bit finicky, but ah well. You know, I guess when the time's right for it, we'll upgrade. For now though, I want to keep costs to a minimum, so yeah. Now, over here we have this sawmill, and I know that we're gonna be bringing wood and we're gonna taking away goods, so we need at least 2 tracks over here. I mean, that much is pretty much certain. Now, over here it would cost 129. So around 120-ish. What would it cost over here? 140. Whoa, 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 look at this. 90 even. Though, and again, I mean, so it's just in general cheaper than it is, I don't know, but if I turn it around, it's probably, yeah, I mean, stupid auto snap. Can I turn that off? I don't really know even. No, I can't turn it off. Right, fine then. So, we'll close. No, I don't want to go back to the menu. I wanna, yeah, there. Right, that's annoying really. So, because of the auto snap, I can't have it at the right spot, because you can see that it would be relatively cheap over here too. See? It would be, if only the game would allow us to build it there. Instead, we're gonna save us those 8 quid, and we're gonna build the station over here then. If I went, oh, it's even cheaper like this. Although, having said that, I mean, we also need to consider, we'd have to make a crossing over there, but then we'd also have to consider, like, next, the track will need to make a sharp curve, because we can't be going up this hill that cheaply, so... Having said that, this is probably, I mean, look at... Why didn't I think of this before? Look at how cheap this is. Alright, this is going to be it. Screw the height lines. I mean, sure, we'll have a little bit more expensive tracks, but really, I mean, actually, well, that might not make it worthwhile. Though, if we had placed it on this side, we would have to build longer tracks, because we'd have more distance to cover right now. I don't know. Maybe this wasn't the best placement. Anyway, we'll continue on. So there's collision there. Right. And there's more collision. So there. Too much curvature. Right, well in that case we'll make a junction. There. Right, so in total, I do think though that the station right now is still cheaper than it was if we were to build it over there. And I also think that the track cost won't be that much, you know, the extra track cost, that is. Now then, we're gonna hook this one up, so we're gonna start building tracks. Now, you'll see that building tracks is vastly different from OpenTTD. See, no grid or 45 or 90 degree fixed turns. We can curve this to wherever we want, and we can even play around with the height some. So, however, one thing you'll notice is that there's an estimated cost, and this one little stretch here right now would cost us 40k, but it doesn't have to cost like that, because this is a long stretch, and it always makes the track, you know, at any one of these, well, sections at one angle. So the terrain will just have to compromise, but if you build it in lots of small sections, then it will follow the terrain more closely, and it won't cost that much. So it's definitely a pro tip here from Noob Damage. Now you'll also see the well, the maximum allowed speed. So this is 120. And, well, I can tell you one thing that might come into handy later. Right now, though, that won't make a whole lot of difference. But as you can see over here, for example, right now, the track speed is lowering really fast. But that's because we're going up in a curve. So, I don't mind that, though. I mean, this is like at the station, so that isn't really a bad thing if it becomes really expensive. That is a bad thing if that becomes that expensive. Why does it need to be that expensive? I don't know. Right, ah well. Not much we can do about it. We need to... we could hook this up two ways. We could make a curve around here, or, and this is the method I prefer, is we could build it all the way back over there. The reason why I'm not building just a track up until this station is that it's quite difficult actually to hook it up with these mechanics, you know? I don't know why really, but it pretty much never works out great. Or there's a really sloppy looking tracks at the, well, finishing point of where you were building. So we're just gonna do it this way. Yeah, this way I know at least works for me, so also really important. There, just a really gentle curve in there. See, the small sections don't cost that much. I mean, those amounts of like 40k that we saw earlier, I mean, I don't see them, though we're covering good distance with these small sections. Now, right now, look, see, there's still that tiny hill over there. So we need to, well, work our way around that. But we also need to watch it that we still make it possible for ourselves to hook stuff up here. This though looks pretty solid if you ask me. Following the terrain gently, having a little bit of a mild curve in there, but I'm pretty happy with these, you know, with these tracks. Right, looking good. Look at this track, man. It looks pro. This curve is a bit tight, but that is because of the roads. Can't really do much about that. So yeah, I'm happy with this. Now, what we need next is a depot, of course. Here we can select our depot, currently only one. And there's two ways really to build these depots. It is either at the end of the track line, or we'd have to make a junction that leads to the depot. That of course requires more investing, and I want to keep that to a minimum and maximize profits, so we're gonna do the cheap and easy way and place the depot here. But I'm fully well aware that in the future we might have to relocate this depot, but for now this will do. So there, depot. And well, I guess that this is a track line sorted. Looks pretty good, huh? It's nice, it's smooth, didn't cost that much actually. When looking at the costs, we still got quite a good amount of money, so good for us. Then we need a train, and we also need a, well, route for the train, and this is where it differs wildly from how Transport Tycoon works, because there you just make a train and give it orders. Well, here a train follows a route, and you need to set up those routes first, and then you can have multiple trains running the same route, you know, like shared orders in Transport Tycoon. So we're gonna first set up the route and then assign trains to it. So there we go, new line is what we want. And well, first of all, you know, to keep things organized, we're gonna call this the Newton Wood. There. Then we're gonna add a station, this one, and another one. It's really simple, you just click on them and that's it. Now, right now, the train would just visit the station, grab whatever is there, and then move it to the other station. But we don't really want that. What we want is for the train to only move when it has a full load. And the reason is simple for that. If a train's just standing stationary at a station waiting for it to fill up, it costs less to run than it would if it were en route, you know? I think it's like, it only costs half when it's waiting at the station. So we don't want it to just run around half empty. We want it to be only running when it's full, to maximize profit. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna set it to full load of, well, all the cargo, I guess, or any. I don't really know what the difference are. We're just gonna go with any, really. And then that's our route setup. Now you can see statistics over here, which we'll get into in a minute. For now though, we need to set up a train, and this is really tricky, I feel at least, because, well, I'm inexperienced with the game and I don't really know, you know, like, what's the right amount of wagons for the right amount of production. So, as you can see over here, you know, this is like the amount of things that we have available. And, well, the goods wagons, they cost 40k. Our whole train line, actually, costs about 300k. This locomotive almost costs as much as the whole freaking train tracks. So, yeah, you know, you need to be very careful with the trains. You can also see that they cost a crap load to maintain a year. Same for these, they aren't cheap either. And, yeah, of course we need these, you know, wood, that's what we're moving. But yeah, you want to be very careful, and you don't want a train with 5 wagons waiting an eternity over here to fill up. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna err on the safe side of caution, and we're gonna just add 2 good wagons. That's not a whole lot, that's only 8 in capacity total. I mean, the numbers scale differently as well with OpenTTD, you know, where you could have thousands of liters of things. Over here, it's simple units. Now, we have the train set up. What we only need is, well, we need to assign it to a line. And if we click here, a train will be en route. Now, of course, it won't be because the game is paused, but yeah, I mean, we could unpause this, and then we could even see our very cool train into action. So, look, if I unpause this, it will appear out of nowhere. Look at that, smoke, the building's on fire. What, the doors don't even open? Look at that, it's just appearing out of nowhere, really. But this is it, this is our very first train, and it's going towards the station, waiting for a full load. Now over here, this forest says line usage, no. But this will soon change to yes, I hope at least. And then the cargo will move towards this station. At least, well, that's how it's supposed to work. The one only thing is though that this forest hasn't really produced any goods just yet. I mean, you can see that there is, you know, these icons over here, which means that there's like oil on their way to somewhere. This one hasn't done that yet, so currently we're just waiting, basically. But this will, you know, this will sort itself. And oh, look at this, costs. Oh no. Oh, there it goes. See, line usage, yes. And also the production's going up because, well, you know, it's really simple though. This sawmill is pretty close to Newtown Le Willows, and if we open up the town, we can see that it has a 35 cargo thingy. So yeah, this supply will increase, and well, our train will just wait on this. So I think that right now is a very good moment to say, join me next time when we will see how much profit this train will make for us, and we'll continue to expand the network of the Locoboys, which are us. So yeah, join me then.